Hey folks, this is Vint with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly revisit Capitalism Lab. So the core game itself can be found for $20 on the official website. I'll put a link in the below description for you. The game does feature a number of DLC, the subsidiary DLC, city economic simulation, and so on. There's quite a bit here, and those can be found on the official website as well. I'll put another link for you in the below description if you want to check out their different packages. So in the last video, we talked about production chains, but we didn't get into branding and advertising, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, keep in mind, I am not an expert at capitalism, and by extension, Capitalism Lab. I am a complete newbie when it comes to this, and my goal today is just to show you what I've learned and hopefully whet your appetite so that you can jump into this game and check this out for yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and load up the save that we were working on from the last time. And just to sort of refresh your memory, I created a couple of production chains to show you how it all works. I started by constructing this farm here, as indicated by the cow mooing. There is frozen beef, there's frozen chicken, and there's eggs being made in that farm. And I set them up, and at the moment, I mean, we're making a profit from what I can tell. Time hasn't passed enough to see it, but if we let time pass a little bit, we'll see that income flowing in. And then we made another farm creating wheat, because we wanted to produce more than just raw goods, because we can sell the frozen beef, we can sell the frozen chicken, and we can sell the eggs directly to market. It even says it in the tooltip, can be sold in department store, supermarket, convenience store, and discount mega store. But I wanted to create something that had a production chain to it, you know, raw A leads to B leads to C kind of thing. So we had wheat. This cannot be sold in store. However, we are now shipping that wheat over to this factory, producing flour, and then, by extension, bread. So there's a supply chain there, wheat, flour, bread, and we are selling that bread into our supermarket, and I believe it was here. So, yeah, we are selling eggs and frozen beef and the chicken and the bread in this store. Now, this is where we kind of left off from the last video. We did create, I believe, an apartment right there, and that is also providing us with a little bit of income. I have the market rate set to 90% of whatever the average is so that it attracts more people, hopefully. So, one thing that I wanted to touch on today was branding and advertising. So you'll note, and again, it's hard to see, but on the upper left part of the screen here, there are three numbers. There's brand, which says 0 right now. There's quality, which is 38 at the moment, and the price. Now, I have direct control over the price. There's a little button here, and I can increase, decrease this, and I have to hit that green check mark in order to lock that in. Sometimes I change the price, then I forget to hit that green check mark. But that will affect the price. And these three things, brand, quality, and price, affect the overall rating, which is then compared to the city overall. But your competitors will also be doing these things as well, and you'll be comparing your brand, your quality, and your price to your competitors should they be happening to sell the same thing in the same city. There are 3 cities set up for this scenario. We've got Prague and 2 other ones, so they may be selling eggs somewhere else in a different city, so we may not see a direct competition there. But that brand right now says 0, and the city average is 10. So like right now, we really don't have a brand to speak of. So the first thing I wanted to touch on was how to set your brand. So let's go ahead and jump into the, let's see, this button there. Yep, it's the bullseye button. And then we're going to click on corporate details. We're going to click on that. And then you'll see that there's 2 other competitors here. There's 3 Brothers and Matt Stylists. So I'm going to click on DGA Inc. here, and then I'm going to go over to brand. And there are 3 different brand strategies that you can choose from. And whenever you switch them, it resets the branding across the board to 0. So don't do that if you can help it. Now, corporate brand covers like your entire corporation under like all of your products are under one umbrella. So whether I make bread or jeans or meat or lotion, whatever, all of that is going to be reflected as a whole. So if one product suffers, they kind of all suffer. The whole brand suffers. Whereas the range brand, on the other hand, no, I don't want to change. The range brand only, like, it creates these subcategories, like everything for, say, meat, for example, like the frozen chicken and the frozen beef, they would all be within the same product, like, subcategory because they relate to each other. So the range brand is kind of like taking products of the same type, and that's their brand. But jeans would be a different range brand than meat, because meat and jeans, yeah, you get the idea. So you're going to have like different brands there, depending on where the product falls under. Now, the unique brand, every single product that you create has its own brand. So if one product suffers, it will not affect the other products. So it's a choice there. I decided to go with corporate brand only because let's test this for a minute. Let's go to range brand and let's show you how that works. I'm going to click on range brand. And the reason I'm doing this is because I've got 4 products right now. I've got eggs, I've got the frozen beef, I've got the frozen chicken, and then I've got bread. And bread is actually a different category of product than the other ones are, which is interesting. So even though it says product class food, like the other ones, I'd have to look that up here. There it is. It's under the manufacturer's guide. So it's under the same section. We were under products and corporate details up here. I went down to manufacturer's guide, and that gives us a list of the different product classes that are in the game, like electronic products, cosmetics, furniture, and home appliances. Well, if we click on food, we'll see bread. Bread is of the same product type as cakes, canned corn, canned soup, and cornflakes. So they would be all under the same brand range, right? Now, if we go down to the farmer's guide, that has its own section. You've got wheat here, for example, which we're not selling, by the way. But you can see that livestock has its own thing going. You've got cattle, chicken, all of this stuff. So you've got, we are selling frozen beef right now. We are selling frozen chicken and eggs. So those 3 things are all under the livestock range, all of this stuff, like agricultural stuff. So my goal now is to see how that affects our branding. Now, we need to advertise that new brand. Again, we set a range branding. We went into corporate details, we went into the brand section, and then we selected range brand. Okay, under this strategy, products in the same product class are labeled with a single range brand. So in theory, we have 2 range brands going. We've got bread, and then we've got the chicken and the frozen beef and the egg. Like, these 3 are like its own range, and bread has its own thing going. So to set up advertisement, we're going to click on the center one here. We'll double click on it and click on advertising. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to link media on the left. I get to choose what advertising media outlet I want. And I want one with a lot of rating points and a good price. So let's, I don't know what the difference is between 57 and 52, aside from 5. But let's just go with the cheaper $1.85 maybe. It's the TV station. All right, so we'll double click on that. And we can set our operating budget. And we'll bring this down right now to 25,000. Even that might be a little bit too high. Now you're probably wondering, should I advertise heavily in everything? And the answer may surprise you. The answer is no, because certain products, people want different products for different reasons. Okay, and the way you can determine that is if you go into product details here, and let's take a look at this screen for a minute. It says bread on the top, product class food, necessity index. This is something I want to stress real quick. A high necessity index indicates that a product is essential to people's daily lives. So, in other words, people will continue to buy it even if there's like a recession. So this is a very highly necessary good, is what this is. There are some products that aren't. So you're going to see a fluctuation in how well they're selling. But bread should always sell because it's a highly sought after product, 90% necessity index. Now, getting back to what I was talking about, people wanting products for different reasons. Let's take a look over here where it says price, quality, and brand. There's a percentage under the concern column. Price is 35%, quality is 35%, and brand is 30%. So if you have a high percentage here, that means people value that over the others. So let's see if I can find a good example of that. No, I'm gonna go through different things to see if I can find DVDs. No, that's not a good you can sell. Desktop computer, I think. Let's look at let's go to jeans possibly. Yeah, there we go. So this is a decent example. It has a necessity index of 50%, meaning people kind of need it, but not all the time. Yep. However, you'll note that brand is 45% compared to the price of 25%. So people are going to kind of pay more attention to the brand rating than they will the price rating. So that's interesting. So again, do I want to advertise highly in everything? And if I'm going to be advertising in jeans, then yes. Like if I'm making jeans, they are going to want, I'm going to want my brand name out there, and I'm going to want that brand rating high. I want the quality high and I want the brand high, so the brand name doesn't suffer. Okay, now let's check out the products that we do have. Let's take a look at frozen chicken. Let's take a look at frozen chicken. Now, wouldn't you know, people are more concerned about price and quality than they are about brand. The price of chicken under the concern column, it's 40%. Quality is 40%. Brand is 20%. So people are more concerned about price and quality than they are the brand. So I may not want to like throw all of my advertising budget into branding this, like, because people don't care. They just want a good value, right? So let's take another look at frozen beef. It's something else that we're selling. It has the same percentages: 40% price, 40% quality, and 20% brand. Okay, I kind of went off, Kelter there. Like I kind of went off what I was trying to explain earlier. But getting back to this, I'm going to put my monthly spending around $25,000. I may lower that even more, but my goal is to see how the brand rating goes up across the board, across all four. Right now it says 0. I'm going to go ahead and let time fly, and we can always reload the save. I don't care. It may not be okay. I got a reward. Let's go back into the store. That's what happens when you let time fly. Okay. Did anything happen? My brand is still 0 there. Okay, we may have to increase our advertising budget. Let's again, this is for fun. Let's increase this to, like, I don't know. Let's max it out at 500. We're going to lose a crap ton of money doing that. But I want to see immediate results if I can. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward time a bit. And let's see. Oh, what I forgot to do, I just wasted a bunch of money. You have to click the little dashes here to connect the sales boxes to the advertise. Now, if it's all under one umbrella, I believe all you need is one like dash. Or if it's under range, all you need is to connect one of them, and that encompasses the entire brand. But in the case of unique goods, I believe you may want to connect all of them. I just connect all of them just to be on the safe side. All right, now let's go ahead and pause it. You'll note that our money is tanking right now, but our brand for eggs is now at 54 compared to the city average of 14. So, and the frozen beef also 54. The frozen chicken, also at 54. Do you know why that is? Because we have the range branding set. All of these 3 products are under the same branding umbrella. So they have the same brand rating. Now, the bread has its own thing. Right now it's at 17. Okay? So it's going to have its own range. It's going to have its own umbrella. So that's why it's different. It's not 59 as these are. I'm going to go ahead and lower that so I don't go bankrupt. That advertising budget. Let's bring it back down to like 30,000 or something like that. But you get the idea. So we have these 3 things under one umbrella, and they all have the same brand value. And then this one has its own because it's under a separate umbrella. Now, what I want to demonstrate is what happens if we put them all under the same umbrella via corporate branding instead of range branding. Let's go ahead and jump back to corporate details, and we go to brand. Now this is going to reset our brand, unfortunately. Livestock products 59, food 17. That's currently our ratings, but we're going to now put them all under, not unique. Let's do corporate and hit yes. Okay, so now again, we just kind of have to wait a little bit. I'm going to fast forward time, and we don't have a whole lot of advertising budget, but we can see it's up to 4 right now. No matter what product I click on, that includes bread, the rating is now 4 across the board. Because again, under a corporate branding, every single product is under the same umbrella. Okay? So it's interesting. You can play around with that at your own leisure. I mean, if you're asking me for strategies on what's better, my advice is if you know you're going to create a lot of quality goods and a wide range of them, then maybe corporate is the way to go. Or, if you're afraid that, you're just going to continuously randomly create all these different products and Hail Mary them and hope like heck they do well, quality wise and everything else, you may want to do unique branding because you don't know how each one's going to do and if one tanks, it won't affect the rest of your branding. So it's up to you on how you want to handle that. Now, we, in this video, tackled that brand number. So right now we are advertising as a corporation, all 4 of these things, and our brand rating is now going up. We should see a slight increase in market share and all that stuff. If we go to products and then go to, I'm just going to filter by DGA Inc. there. Okay, let's go click on eggs for a minute. Now, according to this, Capitalism News. Okay, we're going, researchers at Matt Stylist's R&D announce invention. We're not going to get into R&D in this video, but R&D is a way to increase the quality of your products. It's one of the ways to increase the quality. So we looked at brand on how to increase that, and we looked at price, okay, and on all that. Brand is like through advertising for the most part, but again, quality and brand kind of go hand in hand. If you have crap quality, your brand's going to suffer, right? So yeah, all 3 of these things kind of all intermingle. But we can see down here that Matt Stylists is also selling eggs somewhere. Their quality is at 39, their brand awareness is at 11, and their overall rating is 28. I have a slightly lower price at $2, so like I'm doing slightly worse than him. One way I could deal with that maybe is lower the price of the eggs and try and get the market that way, like just through sheer lower prices, like, just drive them out of business kind of thing. Or I can focus a little bit more on advertising, but again, on eggs, people care more about price and the quality. So the quality, this product quality right now is 30. It's the sum of raw material quality and production quality. If you are producing something, like let's take a look at, if I can find my wheat. There's wheat. So my quality on wheat right now is 20. So like that's how good my wheat is. It's pretty darn low. Okay, 20. Now if I were to go to my flour and click on link, now you'll see 2 things here. You'll see this wheat supplier C ports with a price of 59 cents, quality 70, overall 76. That's pretty good. Now, what about me? What about my wheat farm? My poor, lowly, crappy wheat farm. My backwards wheat farm. Price 75, quality 20, compared to 70, overall 35. So I can actually import my wheat for cheaper and for a better quality than I'm currently making it. So I might as well just get rid of my wheat farm. Just get rid of it. I can't compete with the imports right now. I don't have the technology to compete with the quality of these imports. Luckily, when I was setting these up automatically, the game took pity on me and automatically supplied the best choice. So it's not, all this time I thought it was drawing from my wheat farm. It wasn't. It was actually importing it from the seaports here. So right now my wheat farm is doing nothing. It's producing, all these farmers are sitting on this wheat doing nothing. I don't know what they're doing with this wheat. But yeah, so that's just little things like that are always surprising me in this game. So yeah, a lot of things talked about in this video. We talked about branding, we talked about advertising, we talked about different strategies there. And we kind of looked at quality and, you know, how that affects the overall rating. Now, one way to increase quality, again, is through R&D, but we're not going to touch on that in this video. You can affect the price directly by using the plus and minus buttons here and hitting the green check mark. You can affect brand through advertising, but quality is going to take some time and money through R&D. We'll get to that in a different video. Well, this is Vince. Thanks for watching. I'll catch y'all next time. Take care.